attention.
I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight as we begin our coverage of the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the first capital city of the United States. This is the 47th nominating meeting for the Dems, first one in 1832 when Andrew Jackson was chosen to run. Tonight, the First Lady, Michelle Obama, Bernie Sanders, Senator Elizabeth Warren, all the headliners. Those features will come later on. We begin this evening with Trump versus Obama, a vision of America, and that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. According to the uber-liberal New York Times, Donald Trump's keynote address last week was designed to terrify voters.
The irresponsible rhetoric of our president, who has used the pulpit of the presidency to divide us by race and color, has made America a more dangerous environment than, frankly, I have ever seen. The problems we face now, poverty and violence at home, war and destruction abroad, will last only as long as we continue relying on the same politicians who created them in the first place.
But President Obama does not buy Mr. Trump's allegations. Instead, he paints an optimistic picture.
But it's also important for the American people to remember that our crime rate in this country is much lower than it was in the 80s or the 90s or when I first took office. That immigration rates are substantially lower than they were when Ronald Reagan was president. That, as serious as these terrorist attacks are, the fact of the matter is that the American people are significantly more safe now than they were before all the work that we've done since 9/11.
Talking Points is in business to put forth the truth, so here it is. According to an average of polling by Real Clear Politics, 69% of Americans are unhappy with the direction of their country. Just 23% are pleased with the present condition of the USA. That is a direct repudiation of President Obama's point of view. Because if we're all safer, as he says, and the economy is fine, why would the folks feel the country's on the wrong track? Why? The perception problem is twofold. Americans believe that a stagnant economy is making it very difficult for workers to increase their salaries, and that's true. The majority of Americans also believe that disorder, both at home and around the world, is putting them in actual danger. Donald Trump has capitalized on those sentiments, saying he will make things better. Hillary Clinton seems to mostly support President Obama's vision, but does acknowledge the economic problem.
I want an economy that gets back to raising incomes for everybody. Most Americans haven't had a raise. I want an economy that's going to help lift millions of people out of poverty, because given the Great Recession, we have fallen back in the wrong direction.
But the Great Recession was nearly 9 years ago. I mean, come on. By this time, the American economic engine should be roaring. Instead, growth this year estimated to be below 2%. That's dismal. Now, there are 3 new polls in the Trump-Clinton race. CNN has it 48-45 Trump, so you got a bounce out of the Republican convention last week, according to CNN. CBS has it 44-43 Trump, a tie. Los Angeles Times 45-41 Trump over Clinton. So despite all the controversy surrounding Donald Trump, if the election were held today, he might very well win. However, to be fair, perhaps Hillary Clinton will get a bounce out of her convention this week. Now back to the problems. Higher taxes and massive income redistribution will not stimulate the economy. So Mrs. Clinton's going to have to deal with that and separate herself from the Obama machine or run on the economy we have now. Many in the Democratic Party support open borders. That means the consequences of illegal drug importation, illegal aliens committing crimes, and higher competition for low-wage jobs will continue if there were open borders, would they not? It'll be interesting to see if any Democrat puts forth a specific solution to deal with illegal immigration this week. On the foreign front, President Obama's decision to pull all U.S. troops out of Iraq directly led to the rise of ISIS. The president's failure to attack ISIS on the ground has allowed the savages to expand their influence. Mr. Obama's failure to destroy Assad's air force in Syria when he could have, after drawing that red line over poison gas, has directly led to millions of refugees storming into Europe. That crisis has profoundly damaged the region and perhaps even stimulated Great Britain leaving the European Union. President Obama's failure to confront Putin in Russia has directly led to chaos in Ukraine and Eastern Europe. The Iranian nuke deal has increased the power of the mullahs in the Middle East. The Libyan debacle has given ISIS a foothold in that country. The Chinese are expanding in Southeast Asia. Afghanistan is now a sanctuary not only for the Taliban, but also for ISIS terrorists who killed 80 people over the weekend in Kabul. The list goes on. Back home, race relations are worse than at any time since the 1960s. In some areas, police and young black men even fear for their lives. The far left has run wild under President Obama, selling a narrative that America is a bad country, an evil country, dominated by white supremacy. Drug use is skyrocketing, even as the Obama administration puts forth that criminals who sell poison like heroin, meth, and cocaine are non-violent and deserve leniency. Political correctness destroying free speech and giving power to the charlatans who are clogging the court system with frivolous lawsuits. Again, talking points could go on for hours. So Donald Trump may be terrifying voters with his rhetoric, as the New York Times says, but his warnings are based in reality, are they not? Foreign and domestic terrorism is a contagion that is not being effectively confronted. Americans understand that all our lives have been changed. It's now routine to see innocent people slaughtered in the streets. All of what I have just laid out in this talking points is in stone truth, no spin. And that truth has led to the rise of a strongman politician, Donald Trump. The Democratic Convention this week will seek to counter Mr. Trump. We'll see if it succeeds. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight, reaction. Joining us in Washington, Charles Krauthammer. Are you terrified like the New York Times is?
No, not really. I'm, in any way I can self-medicate if I have to. So that's not really an issue for me. Look, I think your enumeration of the things that have gone wrong, particularly abroad, are true. There is no region in the world we are better off. Our adversaries, namely Russia, China, and worst of all Iran, which is going to go nuclear, are strengthened and our alliances are very weak. I think all of that is true. I think we do live in a new world, especially ISIS, which has been downplayed by Obama, is now spreading everywhere and kills almost everywhere. On domestic issue, I think it's a little bit different. You cited many facts, which are true, but one major fact is that the murder rate is about half of what it was 20, 25 years ago. It is historically low. So the idea that the crime is rampant, crime in the streets, people are afraid, is simply not a reflection of reality. I do think the strength of Trump, and if you look at the
also, a lot
polls that
more
just
people
came out
own
the last few
guns
days,
than
where
they
does
did
he
20
have
years
this
ago.
huge
Could that have something to do with it?
in the demographic of white,
Maybe not.
working people
But
who have no college
it's a
education?
mitigating factor
He's got an
that
enormous
should
advantage
be
over
considered.
Hillary there. For that population, they live in a world of anxiety, wages shrinking, jobs going away. It's been cataloged by the social scientist Charles Zabury a few years ago in a prescient book called Losing It. And in describing that population, I think Trump brilliantly reflects their anxieties and how they see
Yeah,
the
but
world.
that population is not 69% of the country. And 69% of the country, that includes liberal people, that includes Democratic people, all different people. That's an enormous amount of people saying the country's on the wrong track. And I submit to you.
Bill, you know that the numbers on wrong track
Yeah.
have been overwhelmingly negative for at least 15 years.
Not that negative.
They have been just as negative. They probably were worse in the
No,
late
23% is about the
Look,
lowest they
let me
according to
give you
Real
an
Clear,
example.
the lowest they've seen. But look, what I'm trying to get at is you can debate crime stats all day long. I don't disagree with you that street crime in America is down. But I will tell you this, that Hillary Clinton
Well, then if
has to
street
separate
crime
herself
is down, then
from
why
the
are
Obama
all
policy machine,
these
particularly
riots
on
happening?
economics, all right, where she's going to lose
Why
to
are all
Trump.
these
She'll lose if she runs on Obama.
people trying to kill
on what
cops
he's
and saying
done.
there's
If she tries to justify what's
big
the chaos
race
overseas in
problem?
the economy here, she's going to lose.
big crime problem, huh?
But she's not going to run on that.
What about
She's had to stay close
Had
to
almost
him
4,000
in running in
murders.
the primaries. This is a dilemma.
In 7.5 years.
Yeah, that's a
Either
big dilemma
advice-
for her.
It is, but look, Hubert Humphrey had that in 1968.
And look what
Majority
happened.
of those
I-
three-quarters of those murders were
Al
black
Gore
on
in
black.
2000.
And look what happened
It is-
now.
It is
The others were
always a
with
challenge.
different
Look, I'm not
demographics.
saying she's got necessarily a winning hand. I'm just saying there's nothing
Then if-
new about her challenge. And I will tell you
If
this.
crime is
if
down,
the world is so horrible
then
as you describe
I don't
it,
see any
why
reason
is
why
it
all
that
these people are
Obama's
so
numbers about
upset.
50%
Because they like
popularity?
him as a person.
George
doing a
Bush
bunch of riots and
was in
shooting
the low
cops.
30s at this point.
Makes no sense.
There's
in
two
2008.
reasons for that. You ask me, and I'll give you one. They like President Obama as a person because he comes across as a well-meaning man, and the press loves him, so that he gets positive press almost everywhere, and the low informational voter buys into that. But in their gut, in our gut, people know it's not going well. Now, do you believe that Donald Trump is what they call a strongman politician? That he's running on authority, I'm going to clean it up my way. Do you believe that he's a strong man?
I think he's running as a strong man. This is, look at what he said in his speech. Only I can fix it. He said over and over again that he's the one. He'll give you all kinds of promises. I will bring back jobs. I will do this. I will wipe out ISIS, without ever explaining how he's going to do that.
Because he doesn't want ISIS to know. He wants to
Oh,
surprise
come
them.
on. You believe that guff?
Hey, look, I'm
Come on,
here
you
to
know,
disseminate
you
opinion
want-
and
you want
information.
that-
I just
that's
told you
called-
what his answer was. I
His
asked him
answer.
that question 4
Yeah, but
times.
I wasn't asking him. I was asking you. And what you offered was a Trump spin.
Look, I think this. If Donald Trump is elected president, that he will go after ISIS a lot harder than President Obama has. Do you
I'm just
disagree
saying-
with that?
You asked me about whether he's
Wait,
running
do you
as a strong man.
disagree that Trump would go after ISIS harder than Obama? Yes
I
or no?
have absolutely no idea what he's going to do.
Come on,
and I'm not even
Charles.
sure. I'm not
Come
even
on,
sure
Charles.
he does. And to hear you speak
Come on, man.
I'm
That-
giving you
that
my
you know.
opinion. Opinions
Come
can't
on,
be spin.
guy.
Spin are facts. We're both speculating about what a man would do. You know that.
Yeah, and he
Spin
tells us-
is not an opinion. Look,
Well, maybe
I wanted
he
to know whether
promises-
you believe that Donald Trump would go after terrorism, worldwide terrorism, harder than Obama, and you say you don't know?
I have absolutely no idea. Is he going to go after Russia harder than anybody
I don't know
else?
about Russia, but I do know
is he
about
gonna-
terrorism.
Is he going to be tough on China? Is he going to be hard on Iran?
He's been
What
talking
exactly
about
is he
China
gonna
since
do
day
with
one.
Iran? You tell me.
What would
I
make
he
you
would
think
get
he's not going to be
very,
tough on China? That's like his
very hawkish Pentagon
foreign country
and
he
very
talks about the
hawkish
most.
Secretary of Defense and State.
And do what?
Don't know. Don't know.
So you don't either.
I don't know. And I
I
don't
don't
know
know
what
either,
Hillary Clinton's
guys.
going to do,
I
because
don't
if she's
know what
buying
he's gonna
into
do.
President Obama's view of overseas,
That's why all
is
this
that what
is
she's buying
speculation.
into? Is she going to do the same thing he's doing? Is she?
Bill, you forgot your original question.
No, I didn't.
Is he running as a strongman?
Yeah, I didn't
the
forget
answer
it.
is yes. When a strongman runs, he says, "Trust me. I'm a general. I'm a war hero.
Right.
I'm a businessman. I don't have to explain how I'm going to do it. I can do it. I alone
So
can
then
do
it comes
That's
down
what he
to
said.
whether you, Charles Crownhammer, trust Trump or trust Hillary Clinton. Who do you trust more?
Well, it's not a question of who I trust.
Sure it is.
It's a
They're both
question of who's
asking
got-
you to vote for them in nebulous ways. Trump doesn't spell it out,
No.
and we don't know whether Hillary Clinton's going to do a third term of Obama or not.
Hillary Clinton has put out a program. You can agree with it. You can
What
disagree
program?
with it.
How is she going to defeat
But it is
ISIS?
not-
The same thing that
He just
Obama's
gave you his
doing.
answer.
Obama
He's for
here,
Hillary.
Make fun of them there, whatever. That's what she's going to do.
Look,
I
you
think.
know as well as I do that Trump is running on the promise. I was successful in business. I will be successful as president.
Right.
If you believe that, you vote for him. If you're skeptical, then you have to have second thoughts.
All right. All right. Well, I appreciate the good debate, Charles. It was very lively. You know, we just spent, 7 minutes with Charles? And it seemed like
Because
maybe, it seemed like 20.
Well, I keep having to remind you of what you said 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know.
That's what holds us up.
I know. All right, Charles Grant, everybody, next on the rundown. Chaos
What a good
within the
debate.
Democratic Party today as the
I
head
like
of the
a show where they don't,
DNC
like,
is fired.
Fully
Later,
100%
Waters with
agree
the
with
kids
each other.
chasing the Pokemon Phantoms. Those reports after these messages.